$6.7 billion. That is the price tag for global dominance. Today, the Premier League sells its television rights for a sum that could buy every club in the 1992 top flight and still have change left over. But back then, the game was different. Stadiums were crumbling. Hooliganism was rife. English football was a pariah. Then came a single decision that rewrote the rules. In 1992, a struggling satellite broadcaster called BSkyB placed a bet £304 million for the rights to show live matches. Critics called it financial suicide. They were wrong. That gamble didn't just save English football, it turned it into the world's most lucrative entertainment product. By every measure, it won, and that is what makes it unsettling. Because the same deal that built the empire also planted the seeds of its destruction. What was that decision? The answer is surprising. It wasn't about money, it was about control. And it set off a chain reaction that would reshape the sport forever. The year is 1992. 20 clubs walk away from a century of tradition. They are not greedy, they are desperate. English football is dying. Stadiums crumble. Hooliganism drives families away. The game is broke. But one man sees something else in the grass. For decades, television treated football like a filler. A few grainy highlights on Saturday night. No one thought it could sell. Then a struggling satellite broadcaster, bleeding millions, makes a bet, £304 million. The bet that saved English football, critics call it financial suicide. They are wrong. That money floods the game. Clubs buy foreign stars. The product improves. Global audiences grow. But the real winner is not the clubs. It is the broadcaster. From 1992 until 2007, Sky Sports holds a monopoly. 15 years of no competition. They dictate the schedule. They control the narrative. Football becomes a television product. Yet the seeds of destruction are already planted. The same hunger for cash that saved the game will one day consume it. The clubs broke away to survive. But they handed control to a man who didn't even like the sport, who was the outsider that bet his empire on a game he didn't even like. In 1992, BSkyB was drowning. Losses piled up so high the entire News International empire teetered. Then came the gamble, a bid for live Premier League rights, a sum so staggering it made the boardroom go silent. Critics called it financial suicide. But Murdoch saw something they didn't. Football wasn't just a sport, it was a subscription engine. A product that could pull viewers into homes and keep them there, month after month. Therefore, Sky bet everything on that £304 million deal, the bet that saved English football. And it worked. Within years, the network turned from a loss-making satellite experiment into a cash machine. Yet the clubs who signed the contract, they got a fraction of what the rights would soon be worth. The money flowed in, but the real prize control of the broadcast market stayed with Sky. For 15 years, no competitor could touch them. The era of no competition. And as the cash grew, so did the hunger. What happened when clubs realized they'd sold their souls for a fraction of the real prize? Subscribe to decode the business behind the games. The money hit like a flood. £304 million. The bet that saved English football, but that was just the beginning. Clubs that had been scraping by suddenly had millions to spend. They didn't hoard it. They spent it on players, foreign players, the best in the world. And the world started watching. But here's the twist. The money came with a condition. Sky needed a product that sold. Therefore, the Premier League didn't just buy talent, it manufactured stars. Cantona, Bergkamp, Zola, men who could do things on a pitch that had never been seen in England. Their faces appeared on billboards, their names in headlines, their games beamed into pubs and living rooms every weekend. Clubs became brands. Manchester United wasn't just a team, it was a global logo. Arsenal wasn't just a club, it was a style, a philosophy, a product you could buy a replica shirt of. For 15 years, Sky held the monopoly. No competition, no alternative. They dictated the schedule, the narrative, the price, and the money kept rising. But that monopoly created a hunger. Other broadcasters watched the Premier League grow into a beast they couldn't touch. They wanted in, they started plotting. How did one rule change turn English football into a magnet for the world's best talent? For 15 years, one company owned the only product fans couldn't live without. Sky Sports held a monopoly on Premier League broadcast rights from 1992 until 2007, the era of no competition. During that time, the league's value exploded. But the price of entry stayed locked. No rival could bid. No alternative existed. If you wanted to watch live top-flight football in the UK, you paid Murdoch's price. And he set that price with one goal: make football a loss leader for a broader subscription empire. He sold dishes, not just matches. Every game was a Trojan horse, yet the very success that built Sky also planted the seed of its undoing. The Premier League became too valuable to remain a private playground. Regulators in Brussels began to circle. They argued that a single broadcaster holding all live rights stifled competition and harmed consumers. The league fought back. But the pressure mounted in 2007. The dam broke. The European Commission forced the Premier League to split its rights into packages. Multiple broadcasters could now bid for slices of the season. Rivals like Setanta and later BT Sport stepped in. The monopoly ended, but the question that followed was more dangerous than any regulator. What happens when a single broadcaster owns the only product fans can't live without? For decades, the Premier League had one buyer, one price, one king. But the crown doesn't stay still. In 2019, Amazon Prime Video slipped into the room, not to replace Sky, but to take a single live package. 10 matches a season, a toehold. Yet the message was clear. Tech had arrived. Apple followed. Then DAZN, then a dozen streaming platforms sniffing for a foothold. The old monopoly shattered, not by regulation, but by a bidding war. No broadcaster could win alone. Every auction became a spectacle. The price climbed, then climbed again. Today, the Premier League sells its rights for £7 billion, a figure that once bought the entire league now buys just 3 seasons. That's the price of global dominance. But here's the question no one answers: who actually pays? The streaming giants spend billions, then pass the cost to you, through subscriptions, through blackout rules, through a game that becomes harder to watch live. The money flows upward. The fans, they're left holding the bill. What's the real cost of the £6.7 billion deal that just shattered all records? The screen doesn't blink, it holds you. The Premier League's real product isn't the ball, it's the space around it. The ad boards, the pause before a free kick, the 30 seconds where a billion eyes wait. That's what broadcasters buy. In 2025, the price hit £6.7 billion, today's price for global dominance. But the game itself, it's just the delivery system. The money reshaped everything. Clubs became content factories. Every pass, every tackle, every manager's grimace optimized for the camera. The stadium, a studio, the fans, extras. The real audience sits at home, remote in hand. And the broadcasters know, if you look away, they lose. Therefore, the tension is structural. The sport needs authenticity, crowds, chaos, the raw unpredictability of 11 humans chasing a ball. But the business needs control. Predictable ad slots, star players who don't get injured, a product that never fails. Those two forces are pulling in opposite directions. What's next when the product isn't football, but the attention of the world? When the screen becomes the stadium, and the stadium becomes a set? The answer will decide whether the empire stands or collapses under its own weight. The single decision that changed everything, a £304 million gamble, the bet that saved English football and created a monster. Picture 1992, BSkyB is bleeding cash. Murdoch's empire is on the edge. Then they buy the rights to broadcast live football. Critics call it financial suicide, but they don't see what's coming. That £304 million injected life into a dying sport. Clubs could suddenly afford the world's best players. The product got better. More people watched. The price went up, and up, and up. For 15 years, Sky held a monopoly. No competition, no challengers. The era of no competition let them dictate terms. They built a machine that fed on itself. More money, better football, bigger audiences, more money. But every monopoly plants the seed of its own destruction. Today, that same deal is worth £6.7 billion, today's price for global dominance. But the machine is breaking. Streaming wars have shattered the old model. Tech giants outbid traditional broadcasters. Fans pay for 5 different services just to watch their team. The very thing that built the empire, exclusive live rights, is now tearing it apart. The lesson. When you turn a sport into a product, you sell its soul to the highest bidder. The hubris of 1992 was thinking you could control the beast you created. You can't. The game always finds a new owner. Next time, the hidden monopoly that owns your attention, and the one decision that made it untouchable. This is the monopoly matrix, where money meets the game.